Good morning to everyone and welcome to this media brunch organized by the Grenada Tourism Authority. This morning we will be introducing the newest addition to our leadership team here at the GTA, as well as introducing you to our PR and marketing representation in our source markets. Also joining us this morning, we have our sales director out in the US and Canada. And we this morning will see remarks from the leadership team that is joining the GTA. However, to get the ball rolling, I will invite the Honorable Dr. Clarice Modest Cohen, Minister for Tourism, Civil Aviation, Climate Resilience, and the Environment, to deliver some brief remarks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Master of Ceremony. And a pleasant, warm Grenadian welcome to everyone within our Tri-Island state and outside of the Tri-Island state. I want to recognize to my right the Chairman of Grenada Tourism Authority, Mr. Barry Collymore, and to my left, the CEO of Grenada Tourism Authority, Ms. Petra Rhodes, and to all of the other personnel in management of Grenada Tourism Authority, all of the staff, everyone here, invited guests, and to our listeners abroad. I have been advised that we have listeners internationally, and I welcome you to this forum. Let me start off by saying how proud I am of our tourism industry and our nation. We have gone through a global pandemic, and we are still standing strong. We can proudly boast of low COVID infection rates and rising vaccination rate within the tourism industry. Employees and business owners alike in this Tri-Island state have proudly been vaccinated to keep themselves, their families, colleagues, and our visitors safe. And we continue to do that to ensure that we get to that critical mass. We all understand that tourism is everyone's business. It undoubtedly affects every other sector, both private and public. For example, in 2019, tourism accounted for over 40% of our country's GDP. I truly believe that in 2022, we will surpass that. And that is why I'm so elated to see the Grenada Tourism Authority in the capable hands of such strong industry leaders. By now, we all recognize the faces seated at this table and persons here in the audience as well. And if not, be sure to familiarize yourselves with them, because you'll be seeing and hearing quite a lot from them in the very near future. They are tourism movers and shakers. We all have extremely high expectations of them because of the expertise they possess in their respective fields, and we do expect them to deliver. Just keep in mind that we must all work together to get to the other side of this pandemic. We must all lend a hand in getting the tourism and other industries back on their feet and working again for us. Grenada is no longer the best kept secret, as is evident by our international audience in attendance today. We have been recognized globally as the Caribbean's hidden gem, which is no longer hidden. Now is the time to capitalize on this audience. Now is the time to show them our strength, our resilience, our beauty, and our ability to compete in the tourism industry, regionally and internationally. The team at the GTA have been successful in their campaign to name Grenada the culinary capital of the world. And we are off to a fantastic start. There are several more global initiatives in the pipeline, and I am extremely pleased for that. There has been talk of expanding our volunteerism projects, a more hands-on approach with our farmers and our fisher folk. We all know the extremely critical role that they play in the tourism industry and also how they contribute significantly to the economy of our country. More immersive experiences for our guests, taking them out of their hotels and into our communities where they can interact. This is what we need, more tangible interactions with tourists and our other sectors. And therefore, we must put every measure in place to ensure that when they do interact, they interact safely. And measures will be expounded to you either through this conference here today or later on as we progress with communication with our public over the next few days and weeks. I will leave it to the team at this table to expound on their plans for you. I am most excited for our future as I am proud of our nation. I am truly grateful that I am at the helm of the ship at this time to bear witness to the greatness that we are capable of. I am extremely grateful for the support we have received from the Ministry of Health to ensure that this country remains safe and this country continues to do that as we chart the way forward in the tourism industry and every other industry in the Tri-Island state. I am thankful to our government for the efforts they have made, both financially and physically in this pandemic, and as we continue for the promise that they have made to the Grenadian people to keep our people safe. I am also thankful to them for the support they have given us in the tourism sector, even when we were not earning revenues, that they have found revenues to give support, recognizing the importance, the critical importance of this industry to our economy and to job creation for so many people in our Tri-Island state. We will rise stronger and we will be better than before, but we need every hand on deck, every Grenadian in this journey with us, and we will succeed as we have succeeded before. So again, I am pleased to have these two people on both sides of me and the other staff that we have. They are powerhouses, and they too will lend their strengths to this industry as we chart the way forward. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. And I must admit, we could not have asked for a better person leading the ship at this time. Your leadership has always been so inspiring, and I know that myself and everybody in the tourism industry continues to be motivated by your leadership. So thank you very much. At this time, I invite the chairman of the Grenada Tourism Authority, Mr. Barry Collimo, to deliver some remarks.
Thank you. Thank you, Cameron. Minister, it's always a pleasure to sit with you and chat in these kinds of forums. We've had many dialogues, and one of the things that upon me assuming the chairmanship of the GTA, the minister said to me is that we have to put together the best team possible, and I feel that today I can announce that I think we have probably, let me think about it for a minute, but I think we probably have the best tourism team in the Caribbean and probably one of the best teams in the world. So I'm very, very proud of that. Leading that team, of course, is the minister, but the person who will be assuming the day-to-day leadership role of that team, as we had previously announced, is Miss Petra Roach, who's to my extreme left, and I'm very happy that Petra has come on board with us. I don't think that we could have gotten a better chief executive officer, and I'm very happy about that. I'm also happy that we have, as Petra will speak about when she has her turn, that we have assembled a team of local and international marketing professionals who will chart the way forward for Grenada in the coming months and years. I'm very proud of it. With that team comes what I had promised a few press conferences ago, that we will be instituting a mentorship and leadership program, of which Petra will head up. And we have already inducted one person into that mentorship leadership program, and Petra will speak more about it. But that is, we are not just trying to grow our numbers, but we're also building and investing in people, and that's very important. So I'm very, very pleased about that. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I don't really want to take too much time because we have so many people coming, and it's really about Petra and her team. The minister and myself really are here to endorse the efforts and to let them know that now that we have a full team in place, we expect them to perform. The minister and I can now breathe a little bit easier. She has been, I cannot tell you how many hours she has been, she's been going way beyond, getting involved in almost every meeting and playing a strong role in almost every meeting that we've had. And it is far beyond what she signed up for, but we are and were in a crisis situation, and we still are in a serious situation. But I think that we now have a team assembled who can take us forward. So I'm very happy about that. But what I want to do, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, is just highlight one aspect of where we're going, and that is a passion of the minister, and something that Petra and the other members of the team will have to put a lot of focus on, and that's the whole link between tourism and the community, whether it be agriculture or other skills. We have a minister, folks, that is probably the only minister of tourism in the world who's also a medical doctor, and probably the only minister in the world that's actively involved in, most ministers are involved in the vaccination campaign in terms of telling people to be vaccinated. She's actually vaccinating people and in her community and beyond. And that says a lot. That speaks to the fact that tourism is not, Grenada's tourism is not just about come and visit. It's about come and visit and be safe. And that's a message that we really want to be carried, that we are trying not just to reopen and reposition our tourism, but to do it in a safe and secure way. And the minister leads those efforts. She also leads the efforts to ensure that tourism links in with the community, and spoke a little bit about Grenada being awarded with the Culinary Capital Award. That's very important. We have persons in Grenada creating what we call a Grenada menu, where Grenada is not just a flat coral island. It's very rich in agriculture and spices and all of that, so that you have chefs like Belinda and the vegan chef Joachim and those kinds of persons who are creating Grenadian creations, so that when you come to Grenada, you're not just eating food that's imported from America or whatever. So coming to Grenada is not just about supporting a hotel. It's also about supporting an agricultural industry supporting the local farmer, because that's where you're getting the food from. And coming to Grenada, which is the Spice Isle, and I believe that, you know, the marketing team needs to look at how much our branding reflects that, the Spice Isle, and that's something that they will have to assess. But I really believe that we have to look at the Spice Isle branding a lot more carefully, because I really believe we did a survey a few weeks ago, and it says, why do people come to Grenada? And the magnificent beaches were one, but the next thing was spice experience. That was the next highest thing. So I think we really need to look at the branding again and see, we may have lost something by not emphasizing the Spice Isle enough, but I'm not the expert marketer. Petra and Paul and Black Diamond and Finn, they will have to look at that and see whether or not we keep pure Grenada or we do something else. That's up to them. But what I'm saying is that I want people to understand that coming to Grenada, when you come here, you are supporting a lot more than hotels. You're supporting the agricultural industry. We have a rich entertainment and cultural industry, which is rooted in culture and that kind of thing. And you are also supporting the tour and travel industry and the tour operators and local tour operators and that kind of thing. I think Grenada is tremendously poised now for takeoff, and I think it's in very good hands. And without taking any much more time, I just want to say that I think that I'll save any questions that you have for the Q&A segment, but I think that it's a good that we are having this engagement now, that Petra gets to meet with the press and introduce her team, and on behalf of my board, who are all volunteers. I keep mentioning that because it's important, because Grenada's tourism authority is run by a board of volunteers, primarily from the business sector, who have decided that reopening and repositioning Grenada is important enough to them that they will volunteer their efforts to do it. And I always talk about that. So that, Petra, on behalf of the board, I want to wish you and your team all the best. We are here to support you. We are here to provide support and anything that you bring to us that we think is meaningful and that you recommend and that certainly that we can afford, we will support it. So I want to formally introduce Petra. She will introduce her team and wish her all the best. And finally, I want to end by thanking the members of the media for showing up today. I think it's the buy-in from both the local and international media is very important. And I hope that we can continue to work together for the success of Grenada's tourism. Thank you.
Minister Modest Cohen, distinguished members of the press corps, both here and abroad, and my esteemed colleagues, I cannot tell you what a privilege it is for me to be sitting here this morning and sharing in this conversation. And I'm sure that you can see the size of my smile to be a part of this gathering. And we really want to make a step change in the way that tourism is perceived and the role that it plays in the tri-island state of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. We want tourism to be recognised not just as an economic driver, but certainly as a way that we can develop our people who continue to be the main reason that people come back here time and time again. And we don't want it to be seen as the hallowed domain of people who own accommodation establishments or eating establishments. It can't be, oh, that's their business. It's got to be the business for each and every Grenadian, whether they're Grenadian by birthright or Grenadian by adoption, or whether they're Grenadians here or they're Grenadians in the diaspora. That's the most important role that we commit to. But obviously, we have gone through a catastrophic situation with this pandemic, which doesn't seem to be stopping. There's always something else that's being thrown up in our path. And therefore, we have sat back and looked and really thought, what is the best strategic and targeted approach that we can adopt? So we've invested a lot of time working with the airline partners, because ultimately people have to get here on a plane. They can't walk or they can't swim. And I'm very happy to say that we've got some really exciting developments in the work, but due to the commercial sensitivity of them, I can't share them at the minute. But suffice it to say that from mid-July, we have the full complement of our UK seats back on stream. And by December the 1st, we will have the full complement from the USA. Canada and Germany will come back on in November, and the Caribbean continues to be for us a work in progress. And what we've done is we've also looked at the way that Grenada is being sold in the marketplace, and traditionally the distribution channels have been around the mainstream tour operator partners. And what we've done is done a deep dive, and we're expanding our distribution network and footprint now to include smaller, more boutique, more specialist operators. And I know that we also face the challenge. Grenada. People know Grenada. They know that it is an island in the Caribbean, but they don't understand what that value proposition is. They don't understand the experience proposition. And if you think about it in terms of the distribution, these tour operators, they're selling thousands of places, thousands of hotels, etc. So they haven't got the opportunity to take time and resources into explaining deeper what the added value component of a holiday to Grenada means. So we have to undertake that responsibility and stop being lumped into just a beach holiday. Of course, that's what the majority of people are going to come here for, but we have to give definition to what our natural assets are, because ultimately they are our competitive advantage. So when you look at these beautiful flowers that we've got here, we've brought them here for a purpose, because the gardens of Grenada are absolutely stunning. They're some of the most stunning in the world. And Chelsea Flower Show has actually given 16 gold medals to the Grenadian team. And we have worked collaboratively with them today, with the organisers of the Chelsea Flower Show, to bring you these beautiful heliconias and spider orchids and bird of paradise, etc. And we're going to continue to integrate that into every representation that we have of Grenada on every channel. And today, unfortunately, those of you who are joining us virtually, you won't be able to partake of the culinary delights that we have with Belinda Bishop and her Flavours of Grenada. And I really want to give her a special mention, because ultimately she has been taking a lot of time investing in the young chefs who are up and coming, and really helping them to understand how they can use local produce to make sure that they create something that is definitively Grenadian. And ultimately, we build on those things because we want to ensure that we continue to improve employment, that we continue to lend opportunity for entrepreneurship, that we continue to minimize the leakages through importing foodstuffs, etc. And I know that ultimately people think, oh, well, these are things that are only for people in the tourism industry. But if you think about it and you ask any fisherman or any farmer, how is their business going at the minute? What they will say to you is rough, because we have to get away, or we have to really drill down and understand that tourism lends opportunity for each and every one of us. And that's the message that we're going to be taking, because ultimately the people of Grenada are the manifestation of who we are. They're the eyes and ears in the industry. They are the people that the visitors will be interacting with. And ultimately, what we want to also ensure is that we've got a step change in terms of the youngsters and the talent acquisition that we've got coming into the industry. When I was growing up, if somebody started as a waiter, that's where they ended. But through initiatives like the West Indian School of Hospitality, we have access to over 6,000 courses through eCornell, which people in the industry can have access to for free. And these are courses in terms of service excellence, in terms of hospitality leadership, in terms of food and beverage management, etc. So all these initiatives, when you overlay them, this will help us on the path to ensuring that we've got competitive advantage and that we get a customer who actually is a quality customer rather than looking just at numbers. We've got 95 hotel rooms, hotel cottages, villas, and apartments. We've got 95 establishments in this country, and that represents 2,400 rooms. We've got 112,000 people in our population. We have to make sure that tourism works. We haven't got the opportunity to, make mistakes, etc. We haven't got that. So really, those linkages that the chairman was talking about, communications, entertainment, we really, really have to do a deep dive and make sure that we're making them work for us. And I think we know that people have been fed up with staying at home, and they now have this thing which people are calling revenge travel. They want to get out and they want to travel and get out into open spaces and, be able to breathe and see something new. And we have a plethora of offerings that are perfectly suitable to that sort of customer. So, we look at the fact that things like health tourism, wellness tourism, they're increasing in popularity. People are into hiking. We look at the fact that in terms of our national parkland, we've got over a fifth of the Tri-Island state that's just natural national parkland, no buildings, nothing, those wide open spaces. We've got beautiful wildlife vegetation and the biodiversity that exists here. We've got the opportunity for food security. All these are interesting things because the customer that we're looking for is going to be a customer who wants to be a good global citizen. They are interested in sustainability. They're interested in, as the chairman says, community tourism. Community tourism evolves into volunteerism. It evolves into green tourism. It evolves into responsible tourism. So it's a big, big opportunity. We're expanding that footprint of people that we traditionally spoke to. And ultimately, the biggest thing that we want to be bringing to the table is the volunteerism program, because people want to, when they travel, they want to leave a positive footprint. They want to give back. So travel with a purpose is increasingly popular. After you've gone through something like this pandemic, you're like, oh dear, I want to leave the world a better place. I really want to ensure that I help those who are less fortunate than ourselves. So we have to establish a charter which says to people, when you come to Grenada, this is the expectation on how you as a visitor needs to behave, and this is what we as the Grenadian people promise you in return. So ultimately, the authenticity, the farm to table, spa and wellness, all of these are important elements, and we need to share the information about our natural assets and resources to the world. And then there are other markets that we really are actively going after: the MICE market, the African American market, millennials, silver travelers. If you look at the demographic of the African Americans, 17% of African Americans take one or more international flights per year. In 2018, they spent over 63 billion, and this is a market that's not really being catered to. And we have a plethora of offerings that we can package and share with that market. In millennials, 31.5% of the world's population are millennials, and they've got a spending power of over 200 billion. What are we putting into that package to attract these youngsters who they have a propensity to travel, they want to go out into the community, they want to make sure that they are giving back so that it's perfect. They want to focus more on experiences and the culture. And a lot of the things that they do, they get their influence from social media and user-generated content. And then we also have recently gone through the process of launching our remote employment bill for 2021, which establishes that framework for non-nationals to be employed remotely in the state of Grenada, Carriacou and Petite Martinique. So we sort of are trying to appeal to them to add a touch of spice to their life and work-life balance. And we see that this is an expanding opportunity. These digital nomads, they're looking for a home where they can have such beautiful scenery and also have that amazing welcome. And they are staying for longer. So therefore their contribution to our economy is that much more robust. And we want to convert them into longer term citizens. So lots of opportunity for expansion. So I wanted just to give you a little taste of some of the things that we are processing at the minute, because we understand that the responsibility that's been endowed to us is extremely huge, because as I started off by saying, tourism impacts each and every one of the 112,000 people on these islands, and also in the diaspora. So we need to make sure that we don't make mistakes and that we really leverage all the opportunities. I get the privilege to sit here at the head table, but we have a fantastic team that we've put together to complement those who were there before. And I want to take the opportunity now to introduce them first in a cluster, and then we will hear just a quick greeting from each and every one of them. I think with the talent acquisition process, the one thing that we did was really sat down and explained the responsibility that was being endowed to people who were coming on board. And we wanted to explain that this wasn't about just relaxing and letting things happen, that we had to go forward from a very aggressive stance, because, as I said, there are loads of people out there fighting for this pie, which is a lot smaller. And I'm pleased to say that we have established really a best-in-class group of people who have given their commitment to doing their absolute best to ensure that Grenada, Carriacou and Petite Martinique gets the visibility that it deserves, but not just only the visibility, that we really drive footfall and commercial success, which will redound to each and every person's benefit. So from the UK, in the PR team, we have the PC agency led by Paul Charles. We also have our marketing agency, which is the award-winning Black Diamond agency, led by Jonah Whitaker and Jim O'Dore. We also have newly appointed in the USA Fin Partners, led by Virginia Sheridan. And then here on the island, we have EME Partners, led by Risa Peters. And Nikki, I've forgotten Nikki's surname, apologies. And complementing our team in the GTA, we have Cherise, who most of you know, and also as part of the leadership program that the chairman mentioned, we have a young bright spark that we've brought on called Emil Edwards. And when we were doing the acquisition for the sales and marketing manager, when he opened his mouth, the charm and the absolute command of the room and his dedication and commitment and passion about all things Grenada, we thought he is going to be a perfect complement to the PR and the marketing team in the UK. The UK is one of those markets that we see as offering massive potential. We had 26% market share of Grenada's business in 2009. That dropped to 16% in 2019, and we really see that as a massive opportunity for really strong positive growth. So having Emile join that team, we feel that it really is the perfect combination for great success. So without further ado, I want to thank you for indulging me with your time. As Minister said before, we want to thank you for your commitment to sharing our news and to helping us elevate Grenada in the eyes not only of the foreign public and potential customers, but also to each and every Grenadian. And we lend our commitment to give you support wherever it's needed. So I'll pass you on now to Charisse to say a few words.
Sorry. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. All salutations observed. Minister, thank you so much for spending your time with us, and our CEO and chairman, incredible people. So I must say a big thank you to Minister Modeste for such a stellar introduction, and to our CEO. If I wasn't nervous before this speech, I certainly am nervous now. I cannot put into words how excited I am to be on this incredibly talented team at the GTA. The marketing team that I inherited has made the transition so seamless. It's been so easy to work with all of them, and I truly have Francine Stewart to thank for that, their previous manager. She has molded and crafted a beautiful team for me to take over. Our CEO also has given me the absolute confidence that I need to really dig down and unleash our team's full potential. As you can tell, she is an absolute powerhouse, so just being in her presence gives you confidence to do what you need to do to make things happen. And finally, our team's visions really properly complement our minister's visions, and so they perfectly align, so I see great things happening for us. I was very intentional about joining the GTA team, particularly when it was confirmed that Petra, Barry, and their truly incredibly assembled board of directors were in the leadership. I knew that the team would make magic together. We're all forward thinkers, risk takers, collaborators, and passionate about our work, but most of all, we're very passionate about Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. Not to mention that Petra is probably one of the most well-connected persons I have ever met, so everything is just a phone call away. It makes everything go so much faster. In just a week of being at the GTA, we've already gotten so much done and so much started in the pipeline. It really, truly is impressive, and I cannot wait to share all of those things with you. I could not sit at home and sit by and think could have, should have, would have. I really needed to lean on the foundation that I've been given in this field to make things happen in this tourism industry. But most importantly, I needed to be part of getting the Grenada's tourism industry back to where it should be. We should be leaps and bounds ahead of the rest. Our product is like no other. We are one of the more unique islands in the Caribbean, and there's no reason we should not be at number one year after year in terms of tourism and productivity. Being part of ensuring the success of everyone in this industry is of utmost importance. Getting visitors into our communities, particularly into Carriacou and Petite Martinique, is so truly important to us. There is no reason that every person who visits Grenada should not be able to easily access Carriacou and Petite Martinique and lend to their volunteerism over in those islands. They are beautiful and incredible islands, and we really need to put them to the forefront. I've been at the GTA for only a short time now, and I'm already so impressed with the entire team. Mrs. Hostialik and her team battled their way through the pandemic. It was not easy. The tourism sector, amongst many others, were brought to our knees. It was devastating to us. But Mrs. Hostialik and her team, they battled their way through, and they came out the other end here today. And they've still gotten so many things accomplished. We are now the culinary capital of the world, thanks to Mrs. Hostialik and her team. It is incredible. They've still had time to welcome us warmly and catch us up to all of the incredible work that they've started and completed. I cannot wait to meet all of your expectations. As the minister said, it is now a personal challenge of mine, and I'm coming into this with a real Qurani mentality. We're going forward ever. There's no looking back, no looking sideways. We're going forward and we're going to win. Okay? So my team and I are really, truly excited to get started and get working with all of you in the media, and we're looking forward to building amazing collaborative relationships. So thank you all for having us, and really look forward to talking to you all one-on-one. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Cherise. And let me say once again, welcome to the team. Really happy to have you. Thank you very much. And so at this time, what we will do is we will shift our attention to the screen, and I want to introduce to you Mr. M.L. Edwards to say a few words. Yes, we can hear you.
Great. Morning, everybody. I'm joining you from I'm sad I can't be there to get the culinary delights from Chef Bishop, but I'll be there soon. Right? To the Minister, thank you for your speech. Mr. Chairman, Mrs. Roach, I'll be joining you guys very soon. So let me start off by saying how truly it is that I am to be joining this Grenada Tourism Authority team. Not only that, but I'm excited to be taking on this new position of sales manager for the first inductee of this mentorship. That vision being laid out for the country, but really putting it into play. Okay? Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys soon. Great.
Thank you very much, Emil, and we look forward to having you join us here in Grenada very soon. And again, welcome to the team. At this time, I invite to the podium Miss Risa Peters from EME Marketing to deliver a few words.
Good morning to the Honorable Dr. Clarice Modas Cohen, Chairman of the Board, Mr. Collymore, CEO of the GTA, Ms. Petra Roach, Sales and Marketing Manager, Cherise David Hamid, esteemed colleagues, and members of the media. My name is Risa John Peters. It's a pleasure to be here. EME Marketing and PR is pleased to be the local agency representing the Grenada Tourism Authority. We are excited about the possibilities that exist through this opportunity. Being proud Grenadians, our team has a unique perspective on all that Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique has to offer the world. In collaboration with the strong leadership of the Ministry of Tourism and the GTA, We intend to highlight the diverse aspects of our culture that showcase who we truly are, what we offer, and how special Grenada is as a tourism destination. Our focus areas as the local PR firm are multifaceted, but we are most excited about producing features that speak to niche and potential growth areas of our beautiful island's tourism product. We all love the sun, sand, and sea attractions such as Grand Anse Beach, Bathway, the underwater sculpture park, etc. However, EME's talented and creative team has identified culinary arts as a major growth area for Grenada. The culinary capital designation is extremely important to us and gives us an opportunity to expand on training, agro-tourism, and delving into curating recipes that truly embrace our local offering. Our entertainment is another key aspect that has already begun to bring attention to Grenada's culture, which is so rich in musical history, songs, and instrumentation. We intend to highlight our artistry, musicians, and traditional instruments that all speak to the rhythm of our island and the joy any traveler can experience once here. The homegrown businesses developed on island that are built around the use of local products, these businesses thrive in a vibrant tourism environment, which speaks to economic development with far-reaching effects for our manufacturing, distribution, and export viability. All of the companies we will work with and highlight offer unique and integrative experiences through tours, education, and historical perspectives, and they are happy to leave each visitor with a taste of Grenada. This is just to name a few. Our goal is to create the buzz throughout and around Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, telling the stories about Grenada that the GTA international teams can then package and use as part of their assets in marketing our country. On behalf of our dedicated team at EME, I'd like to officially welcome the new leadership team. We embrace the new strategic focus of the GTA, and we look forward to a fruitful future for Grenada's tourism. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Risa, and I must say it has been a pleasure working with you in the past couple weeks, and we look forward to a fruitful relationship as we work to build the tourism industry here in Grenada. Now, at this time, we will go back to the screen, and I invite Mr. Paul Charles from the PC Agency to deliver a few remarks.
Good morning, Grenada. Good afternoon from sunny London, and it's great to be involved in this unique press conference at such an exciting time for Grenada. Myself and the whole PC Agency team are delighted to be working with such a talented and extensive team to help rebuild Grenada. It's obviously been a quiet period during the pandemic, and now is its moment. Its time has come to be able to show how strong it is within the Caribbean. So whilst other islands have for a long time obviously promoted their finest wares, Grenada can now come out fighting and prove how strong it is again to the UK market. And it's an exciting time, bearing in mind here in the UK, the restrictions are now starting to be lifted on overseas travel. So indeed, from next Friday, the 16th of July, the first flights on Virgin Atlantic begin, with British Airways soon afterwards. And I'll be on that first flight with some top media coming to Grenada so that we can start to show the UK exactly what they're missing. I wanted to share a screen here of, which hopefully you'll see, of some of the activity that we have been doing in the UK market, because it has been a very busy time trying to get Grenada onto the green list in the UK, and it now is indeed on the green watch list. With 0 active COVID cases, very few cases in context with the rest of the world since the start of the pandemic, and thankfully just 1 mortality, Grenada has managed the COVID situation very well compared with many countries. And that's a story that hasn't been told in the UK. And indeed, the government had not noticed this because Grenada should have been on the green list some time before. So we've been engaged in a lot of activity, letters to the Prime Minister, preparing statements for the UK media, including key Grenada messaging about the low case rates in media interviews done by the CEO and others, and obviously preparing statements regarding the inclusion of Grenada on the green list. So the letter went from the Prime Minister of Grenada to the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson to make him and his team aware of how strong Grenada is in terms of its COVID management. Crucially, in terms of the vaccination program among tourism workers and employees, and also around the ability on the island, working with partners at the American University, to conduct genomic sequencing, which of course prevents future variants emerging. We've been creating statements around the amber list, which Grenada was initially on, even though it had 0 active COVID cases and a very good case for being on the green list earlier. So we wanted to make media, influencers, and those connected to the Caribbean diaspora aware of how strong Grenada's management has been. And that has involved obviously making sure in interviews that we've been doing with both the minister and with the team at GTA to make sure that they included these messages within their UK interviews. Then we've been carrying out a series of broadcast interviews across BBC, Sky News, ITV, GB News, BBC Radio and others to make them aware why Grenada had a strong case to go onto the green list and should have been there earlier. And that message has been heard and listened to. And indeed, Grenada made the Green Watch list at the end of June, and we were able to issue statements from the minister about how this was good news for Grenada and for its long-term success. So Grenada has found its place again. I firmly believe in the UK market. It enables all of us working, not just at the PC agency, but across Black Diamond and the other team members, to showcase why Grenada now is the place to come and visit. And I'm confident that we're going to get many more opportunities for people traveling again from the UK. And that begins next week, as I mentioned, with the first major media trip coming onto the island and experiencing Carriacou and Petite Martinique as well. We have a very strong lineup of media attending from the Daily Telegraph, from Rob Report, from the Daily Mail, among others. And then we're also conducting a media drop among media to make them aware of the strong delights that Grenada has to offer. As we've heard, we can't experience the food, sadly, this afternoon here in London, but we can send it to media so that they experience it in their own homes. And we're looking forward to doing that. So it's been a pleasure talking to you. I hope that gives you a summary of what we've been up to and will continue to be up to in the coming weeks. And I look forward to seeing you in Grenada this time next week when we arrive on the island. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Paul. And we look forward to great things coming out of the UK market. And speaking about the UK market, at this time, I invite from Black Diamond, Jim O'Dwyer and Jonah Whittaker to deliver some remarks.
Well, thank you very much indeed. And we are just up the road from Paul. So again, another sunny hello from London. And myself and my co-company director, Jonah Whittaker, and the rest of the team at Black Diamond are incredibly proud and excited to be representing Grenada in the UK. We represent a number of destinations around the world, and this is our first and is going to be our only Caribbean destination. It's a huge opportunity out of the UK to increase the number of visitors that we're going to see. Obviously, we've had an absolutely fantastic head start with Grenada being on the green list, but also with increasing consumer confidence around the vaccinations, we are starting to see bookings really increase through the trade. So next slide, please. So what is it that our consumers are going to be looking for? Well, in addition to Grenada's safe travel accreditation, it's going to be all of the unique activities the cultural experiences that you can find nowhere else in the Caribbean, the wonderful geography, and probably more importantly than anything else, the warm welcome that we know that we're going to get from the community when we visit on holiday. But of course, it is a very, very competitive environment at the moment. So we have to be highly strategic and targeted in our approach as to who we go after and how we go after them in order to get them to visit Grenada. Next slide, please. So in the short term, we're going to be working with all of our trade partners. That's the airlines, the tour operators, and the travel agent community. We are setting up co-ops and marketing campaigns with all of those to really kickstart the tourism economy again quickly from the UK. And in the slightly longer term, we're going to be developing how Grenada distinguishes itself from your other Caribbean neighbours to attract new audiences and grow market share. And underpinning all of this, we've got a strategy, which I'm going to hand over now to my colleague, Jonah Whittaker, to explain. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Jim, and good morning, good afternoon all. Yeah, so as picking up on certain themes that have been discussed already, we see a huge opportunity for Grenada from the UK market. There are opportunities to really innovate and present Grenada in a new way and stand out from the rest of the Caribbean destinations. Key thing here is shifting perceptions. So shifting perceptions from existing visitors. Repeat visitation is comparatively low outside of the visit friends and family market. So we really want to make sure that the GTO owns visitor relationships and actually being able to attract the right kind of tourists and make them aware of everything that the islands have to offer, including arts, adventure activities, restaurants, and of course, your incredible natural bounty. With prospective visitors, there's name recognition, but actually there isn't much knowledge beyond the fact that it's a beautiful Caribbean island. We want UK visitors to actively choose Grenada for its unique island culture, being attracted to the people, the landscapes, and obviously your now award-winning culinary scene. And the key thing within doing this is really shifting how we work with the travel trade. You know, currently they're under this misconception that it's just a luxury beach destination. By actually opening up Grenada to new distribution channels, and there are new ones opening all the time, selling all of these niche experiences, we're able to not only reach more people, but better quality tourism. Sorry, it's not quick. There you go. So yeah, really quickly talking about, I suppose, the shift from a core existing audience that has always been the bread and butter of the travel trade to this new, untapped, and very different millennial audience. So away from just desiring a beautiful hotel and beach experience, the new millennial travelers really do search for authenticity, exploration, and connection. You know, they're split into different psychographic groups, but one thing that really differentiates them from, I suppose, their parents' generation is their desire to truly experience the destination, but also understand that their footprint fundamentally affects the destination that they're in. Remember that prior to COVID, tourism was in another crisis. You know, it was becoming a bad word. It was over tourism, lack of benefit to local economies, terrible carbon emissions. I think all of those trends are now foremost amongst the new generation of travelers. They want to make sure that their holiday dollars benefit the local economy and that they want to leave a positive impact wherever they travel. So, you know, this new generation, for them, the fly and flop holiday is over. You know, we want to then tap into that mindset and showcase Grenada as a gatekeeper to people's passions, whatever they love. And there's also a certain been there, done that mentality amongst a well-traveled nation like the UK. So we really need to make sure all of our storytelling makes UK visitors sit up and reappraise what what Caribbean island holiday can entail on the Tri-Island state. So go back one. So you'll see really this is how the UK travel industry currently represents not only every Caribbean island, but a huge range of destinations. We really want to tell all the stories from Grenada and make people realize that the connections and experiences they can that they desire from their next holiday is available in Grenada. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jim, and thank you, Jonah, from Black Diamond. And at this time, I invite Ms. Virginia Sheridan from Fin Partners, Managing Partner at Fin Partners, to deliver some brief words.
Sorry about the mute button. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be with you from not very sunny New York. We are getting the effects of Elsa. So it's not just the Caribbean that has to deal with hurricanes, but the entire Atlantic coast these days seem to be impacted by storms. We're very pleased to be the newest addition to the GTA's marketing communications team. We are a full-service integrated public relations agency with offices across the United States, in Europe and Asia. We specialize in travel and tourism and represent many, many international destinations. And we have long been active in the Caribbean, representing countries like Jamaica, Aruba, Trinidad and Tobago, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, and thrilled to add the gem of the Caribbean, Grenada, to our portfolio. I don't have a report because we just started yesterday, but I can tell you that we're eager to hit the ground running and catch the spirit of the GTA under its new leadership. We have a two-tier strategy for Grenada, and the first part of it is to make certain that the U.S. market understands Grenada better. And we're going to be doing that through what we call in public relations thought leadership. Really what that is using the very dynamic Petra Roach as a spokesperson for the destination and lining up opportunities for her to be interviewed and to talk about the new initiatives and game plan. When we were presenting to Grenada, we did quite a bit of upfront research on sentiment, what people were thinking about when they were associated about Grenada, what the media was thinking about is also. And not surprising, as the other speakers have talked about today, is that the name is recognized, but very little is known about the destination. But there seems that also coming out of our research shows that there is, as travel restarts, an enthusiasm for smaller destination visits for all the reasons that Petra and others lined up today. The ability to be in a fresh, healthy environment, surrounded by beauty, to be able to enjoy a smaller environment that they could easily cope with family and friends, and also to enjoy the unbelievable water sports that are part of the destination's offering. Grenada is not a mass market destination, and we will not be positioning and promoting it that way. It's for a very special traveler that understands the destination and wants the qualities of the destination that the destination is offering. So the second part of our strategy on behalf of Grenada is to obviously begin the communication of that messaging, bring top-tier journalists to the destination for holiday visits and to explore and write up the destination, and also to arrange for opportunities for Grenada to be featured in broadcast and television, films and shows So, because there's nothing like seeing and believing at the same time. We'll concentrate on the discerning traveler market, obviously the water sports enthusiast, family travel market as well. It's customers that we know very well and that we're very comfortable in communicating with. So thank you for your trust in appointing Finn Partners as your new public relations agency for North America. And we look forward to our first visit there so that we can experience the destination firsthand through your eyes, even though I and others on the team have been there in the past as vacationers. So it's a pleasure to be able to bring our expertise to Grenada to create a better awareness for the country and its people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Virginia. And again, welcome to the team. Thank you, everyone who presented this morning. And at this time, we have a host of local media here with us in the room. Thank you guys so much for coming. And if you have any questions for anybody on the head table, you can go ahead and ask it now.
Gerard Joseph, GBN. My first question, you have, yeah. Right, so Gerard Joseph, GBN. You have highlighted a host of partners, including this team for the GTA. A question to anybody else who head table. What's the cost of this, of putting together such a team?
Thank you, Jared, for your questions. There's no increased cost to the GTA for what we are doing. What we have done is a lot of cost saving. For instance, whereas we had before in the UK market, one company doing everything, what we've done now is taken that budget and allocated it to specialists in particular areas. And by that, in that way, we've been able to get the best in particular fields to do to perform the services that we want. And you know, Petra always says to me, Barry, don't take favoritism. But I'm really impressed by you know, PC Agency, for instance, who we brought on for PR and what I call thought leadership, promised us from the get-go. Paul said, I will get you guys on the green list, and he has delivered. So without hiring someone like Paul with his influence, with his knowledge of the travel market, we would not have been on the green list. And he, no doubt, has led the coordination of our efforts. So it's no cost increase to the GTA. We're still on the same budgets. But what we've done is we have taken, in the UK market, I'm talking, in the US, it was just a swap from one agency to another. And actually, we got Finn Partners to reduce their rate. And I thank them for doing that. But instead of giving all of the budget to one agency, we are now hiring specialists.
Question directly for you, Mr. Collimo.
Yes.
You would have highlighted during your speech that yourself and the minister involvement in the operations of the GTA. Now that you have a more capable team, would you be letting go some of that slack and giving more weight to the CEO and her team to really run the operations, the daily operations?
No, I never said that we were running daily operations.
Not a run, but you know, in your involvement, and
well,
also in terms of lessening that involvement and giving more way freedom to the CEO and her executive to lead the GTA forward. Okay,
well, let me just say that the acting CEO, I know this CEO, will always have the freedom of a CEO. So I wanna say that the person who was acting as CEO, Ms. Hoshialik, did a tremendous job, and I thank her for her service. I think what we have now is a team. So we are not, so for instance, let me give you an example of what happened before. We did not have a substantive marketing manager and had not had one for over a year. So that meant then that the board had a committee made up of a number of volunteers who helped the marketing team manage and perform the job of marketing manager. All of that now we will no longer need to do. So you're right in that the hours that we put in terms of management will be less. But I also want to make the point that the CEO and the former CEO and this CEO have always had the freedom that they need to perform their jobs. The board performs its role as a board and will continue to do that.
I think Mr. Collymore as well as Madam CEO have highlighted of a mentorship program, and the person I think in Emmanuel Edwards was appointed. How was he appointed? What was the process?
As I said, or as the chairman said before, when we as the chairman spoke to the repositioning and the introduction of new representation in the UK, we obviously had two international companies, and we needed to have a Grenadian face who could speak with a level of authenticity about the product. So Emile was applying for the position of market and sales manager, and we obviously chose someone else for that position. But in terms of the overall direction which we're heading in terms of talent acquisition, it's very important that we look now to getting youngsters who are bright and who are passionate and who are energetic to come into the organization and to be given a really strong, solid foundation. We are looking at recalibration of the entire organization so that we come up with gold standards in terms of our team members and their competencies, and we have a developmental program for them and the organization. We want people to be looking at the organization when they're seeking the best in the industry to come into their companies, that they look to the GTA first and foremost and say, they've got the greatest team, let's go and get somebody there to join our team. So again, it just was extremely fortuitous that Emile, because of his demeanor and because of his energy and his competency with his masters in marketing, that we then added another layer to that recalibration of the organization with the leadership program. And the leadership program is not going to be exclusively to Emile. He will be the guinea pig, and he is our first inductee, but the expectation is that any member of the team has access to that as we build it out. So in terms of that leadership program, what will it look like? It obviously is giving access in terms of number of man hours each week with the senior management team, including myself, having exposure to these international companies and going in and working as insets to see how they run their businesses. And what their priorities are. It's also in terms of accessing the Cornell e-courses and looking at really supplementing their already, theoretical knowledge. So it's a work in progress, but it is absolutely critical if we want to create the future GTA that we are aspiring to.
Minister, to just because I want you to understand that again, one of the mandates that I was given coming in as chair is to do exactly that, and the minister is very passionate about investing in people. So I know you didn't directly ask the minister, but a lot of this was her initiative. So.
Overview of the process, But I just want to say, and I have been very clear with the chairman, that although it's a statutory body, that some of the policies of the government have to be carried out, and almost all of the positions, as far as I know, were advertised. And you are media persons, you would have seen that in the whether it's on Facebook or some of the media, certainly local media here. So that was done. In the case of Emil, as you heard, we started talk about a mentorship, and with the advertisement for the marketing position, this bright young man came along and applying for that position. But when you get a star, you don't just wait again for a number of weeks to advertise. And this is a conditional situation where you're mentored and you're given an opportunity to learn, and then a definitive decision is made what you do with that individual. So it's slightly different to just advertising and taking somebody in the position. And I support that kind of decision to take someone who has all the attributes that were said before in the interest of time. But you would notice that all of the other positions were Petra's marketing manager, Cherise, and the others were duly advertised, as is our policy.
Mr. Chairman, and thank you, CEO, for that response. Thank you very much, Gerard, for your questions. Do we have any other member of the media with questions? Okay, so what we will do is, in the interest of time, we will take 2 more questions, and then we will close up this segment.
Minister Miriam Tawfiq of WeFM News. The cruise ship season is expected to open. We're expecting cruise ships coming in. 2 questions. What is the date, and will all passengers be vaccinated?
During the downtime of the COVID, we've had conversations with many of the cruise lines. We've had a lot more with Seabourn, the team from Seabourn, related with Carnival, in terms of a specific tour or cruise for the region, because most of our cruises start from Miami. That one would start, the Seabourn will home port in Barbados, and we'll do a 7-day cruise with, I think they're all OECS countries, and Grenada has been included. I think it is very fortunate for us because, as you would recognize, Trinidad is a huge on cruise, and so we're one of the most southerly islands within the region. And if you do a 7-day cruise starting from Miami, you don't reach Grenada unless you bypass every other destination and just come straight to Grenada. So although our cruise industry has grown tremendously, it has been with great pains because of our geographical location. And so this one with Seabourn has been of great interest to us because home porting in Barbados and originating from Barbados and going back to Barbados, that has facilitated us. I think we're on all of the calls. We have intensified our discussions with them, with the Ministry of Health leading, being involved with tourism and having seen the suffering of the tour operators, of the vendors, of everybody else. My first impulse is to take what you get. But this is not ordinary times, this is COVID time. And therefore we've been led by the Ministry of Health, and they are insisting that 100% of our visitors must be vaccinated. Seabourn has assured us of that. The date that comes to my mind, they're starting off in Barbados on the 18th, and the projected arrival in Grenada is on the 24th. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I've been looking at those dates. I think I'm correct there. We are still, we've had conversations, we've had dialogue with them, because health wants to be assured that all of the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, and that Grenada's protocols and policies and requirements are being adhered to. We're just about tying up that. As a matter of fact, we're due for a meeting this afternoon, but I can say safely that pretty much all of our protocols have been satisfied, except for one or two that have to be tweaked. We're hoping we can get that into that one, but the main thing is that everybody must be fully vaccinated. I just wanted to add, though, that that policy also extends to stayover passengers to the airport as well. Of course, Grenadians, we can't put those conditions for Grenadians. If you have a Grenadian abroad who wants to come, then the terms and conditions obviously have to be different. But for visitors, that is what it is. And we're also saying that if we're asking visitors to be fully vaccinated for their own safety and for our safety, then we must reciprocate. So this is where we are, and we hope to tie up things by this afternoon in terms of the protocols that we have to agree on. But one of the guiding principles is the 100%. And let me reiterate, fully vaccinated visitors or guests and crews to our shores.
Thank you very much, Minister. And we will close off the question and answer session at... Sorry. Okay. Now, if anybody wants to have a one-on-one with anybody on the head table afterwards, chairman, the CEO, they're going to be here. They're going to be available afterwards, so you can step to them if you want to follow up on anything that they would have said. So thank you so much to everyone. Thank you, Madam Minister, for being here with us. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, CEO. Thank you so much for your leadership thus far, and we look forward to working closely with you as we work towards building and enhancing the Grenada tourism industry. I want to thank the media for being here. You are a very important partner for us, and we could not have made this possible without you. Thanks to everyone online, all our overseas source market teams. Thank you guys so much for making the time to be here with us, to our regional and international media that joined us on Zoom as well, to all our viewing participants on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever you are. Thank you so much for making the time to be here with us and to be part of this session. Now, at this time, one of the things that we've been boasting about over the past couple of days is the fact that Grenada was accredited by the World Food and Travel Association as the first culinary capital of the world. And we do have a culinary display right here, and we invite every one of you to indulge in the food that we have prepared for you. But at this time, if you look at the screen, you will see a view of what we have, starting with our local juices. We have our soursop juice there. We also have passion fruit, five finger, and tamarind juice. So that's our local juices that we have on display here. We also have our breakfast, which consists of cocoa tea, the Grenadian cocoa tea, saltfish sauce, roast breadfruit, fried ripe plantain, fried bakes, fried cuckoo, roasted breadfruit, which is then fried, fried jacks, and my favorite, homemade bread. Right, homemade bread. That's my favorite bread. We also have desserts. We also have some desserts on display as well, and we have the greatest mace and nutmeg drop cookie. Mace and nutmeg drop cookies, which is nutmeg flavored or nutmeg infused, and we also have local chocolate banana bread pudding. Local chocolate banana bread pudding. We also have that on display. And finally, what is a food display if we do not have oil down, our local Grenadian oil down. So we have some oil down on display as well. So, this is really why, we are the culinary capital of the world, right? This food display is a testimony of Grenada and its culinary prowess. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you to Chef Belinda for putting on this amazing display. Also, so you can go ahead and indulge. I also want to say thanks to the Chelsea Flower Show team for the amazing floral display that we have here this morning. We appreciate you for coming together and working with us at the GTA to ensure that everything that we do is of the best, the highest quality, and we look forward to working together with everybody, the media and everybody, as we work towards building and enhancing the Grenada tourism product and the Grenada tourism industry. So thank you again, everyone, and have a great rest of the morning.
Six continents in an 11-acre corner of southwest London.
Well, that was a rattle around the world. So, destinations for this year?
This year, actually, first of all, you'll like this one, Scandinavia.
Oh, fair.
Finland.
Yeah, okay.
And then we're off to Dubai.
Skyscrapers?
No, more of an arid landscape, and then we are going to Africa.
Whereabouts?
Zimbabwe, and that's all about edible plants.
Oh, fantastic.
That'll be good. And then Japan.
Oh.
And that's more about the medicinals.
I'm telling you, I'm jet-lagged already.
I know. But do you know what? It's not just the show gardens that take that inspiration from around the world. It's in the Great Pavilion as well. People come from thousands of miles away. There's a team from Grenada in the Caribbean that have come back for years and years. It's incredible.
Are they going to be there this year?
They are.
So, you and me, this boat, we're heading to the Caribbean.
Grenada, with its tropical climate, boasts an abundance of vibrant horticulture. Every year, a team of flower arrangers make the 4,300-mile trip to the Chelsea Flower Show. Catherine John is the lead designer.
I never dreamt I would ever be part of Chelsea team, let alone being the team leader.
Catherine's road to Chelsea involves driving hundreds of miles up and down the island, inspecting plants at private gardens and commercial nurseries, selecting only the best.
I'm anxious because the dry period this year is very fierce. Traveling to the countryside today would give me a better idea of what will be available.
First stop today is Margaret St Paul's garden.
She has the most fabulous garden of orchids.
When I'm cutting for Chelsea, oh my goodness, I get so excited.
I bet.
Come, Kathy, you see this?
Yes.
This is going to Chelsea.
Wonderful.
And it will last because you still have lots of buds at the end.
Yes.
That's not open yet. I'm so proud of them.
I bet you are.
Margaret is also growing some anthuriums for Catherine.
Kathy, you come into the Garden of Eden. Let me show you this beautiful one. Somebody gave me that plant many, many years ago, and it wasn't doing good until I start putting all the mulch, and so they just bloom.
Hopefully we'll get 6 of these to display at our Chelsea exhibit.
Oh yes, I hope so too, because that would be a magnificent display.
This will be Grenada's 21st display at Chelsea, 14 of which have won gold. So what do the team have planned for this year?
The inspiration for this year was to do a carnival theme. We want to do an explosion of colours.
Next stop on today's road trip is John Krisik's nursery to source some leaves and fruit.
I want to show you this philodendron because it's perfect size for your display, isn't it?
It is.
Yes.
It's gorgeous.
It's called Xanadu. And if you feel the leaf, you know immediately that that is going to last more than 2
yes,
weeks.
Definitely.
Yes. An upright pink banana, kind of psychedelic. That one there is now opening.
So-
Maybe you like them at that stage, I don't know.
No, just a little bit.
A little bit more developed, yes.
I'm sure we'll get an abundance from you.
Okay.
As usual.
Yes.
Catherine heads to the home of Jermaine George, who's growing a special variety of a Caribbean classic.
You see the lovely pineapple?
Yes. Oh, yes.
One pineapple, this is the whitish one?
Yes, you did give me one year.
Okay.
So hopefully I'll have
you're
one
welcome.
again this year.
So I will keep them for you?
I'm getting all excited.
That's nice.
The last stop for Catherine today is the Balthazar Estate in the island's Central Hills.
We're looking at various heliconias, but this yellow Caribe is always magnificent to work with. And that size, it's ideal for the displays.
The rest of the team are trying out a few design ideas, led by Sherma.
So I would usually start with a palm, which is sort of at the back of the arrangement, so that it gets a lot of movement, so it looks alive. Oh, it feels amazing. You know, when you hear the comments, oh, beautiful, feels good.
We know we have the quality, just have to make sure we put them together right.
It's a beautiful little explosion, like
Yes.
fireworks, you know,
Yes.
it's all to do with celebrating and having fun, because that is what Carnival is about.
It's about.
A few days before Chelsea, the team will prepare the cut flowers for their 10-hour flight. 100 boxes will be layered with moist shredded paper to ensure the flowers don't get damaged. But once they get to the airport, their fate is out of Catherine's hands.
These boxes are put into cargo and anything can happen. When the boxes arrive, we've got everything crossed, hoping that they're in good condition. We do not like to count our chickens beforehand, but we are hoping to be successful again.
The team from Grenada never failed to bring a taste of the exotic to Chelsea. Just look at this extraordinary display. Rachel will be meeting the person who designed it shortly. But it's not just about flowers here. They've also brought with them an array of Caribbean spices. We visited an expert grower in Grenada to show us exactly how they're produced.
Guido Marcel, Dr. Guido Marcel. I'm a pharmacognosist located in Felix Park in the state of Grenada. And you know, Grenada is one of the southernmost islands in the Eastern Caribbean. I'm into what I call natural farming. I do herbs, spices, flowers, fruits and vegetables. And I've developed a term for my type of farming, which I call G-tensive farming. It's not named after me, but it's more related to good agriculture or generative agriculture. It just happens to coincide with my name too, so it becomes G-tensive. This is a turmeric stool, Curcuma longa. It's an underground rhizome. So the leaves dry down in the dry season, and it's that beautiful orange. It would grow from pieces and also from the stalk here. Just put in one piece and you'll get a stool. Relatively very rich soil. Almost anything could grow in it. It's used in a national dish, the oil dung. The oil dung is made from breadfruit.
So the turmeric is an integral part. So we come this way. I'm going to show you this clove plant, which is actually in bloom. One has to be very careful because to harvest, you're looking at it when the buds have just started to be in this state. To harvest, you just bring. Then you'll put this to dry for it to mature, to become the spice. Don't let your clove pass or go to the fruit, then it becomes the mother of clove. And this is no longer spicy. Well, I started here in 1987, so that makes me about 32 years I've been on this spot here. Apart from being relaxing and revitalizing for me, what I look forward to is maybe sharing information with other farmers, with children in particular, because I'm looking forward to the next generation of scientists and entrepreneurs. This is a beautiful clump of cinnamon, the true cinnamon, Cinnamomum verum. Usually when we are harvesting, we actually cut the entire plant and then you proceed with scraping and, have something. But I'll cut this small branch to show you. You actually want to get the bark. So you're removing the skin, the outer layer, the epidermis, you're removing the outer layer. And then you'll start lifting off the bark. So this is what would give you your cinnamon, your true cinnamon. A beautiful nutmeg fruit. Nutmeg is on the Grenada flag. It's part of our culture. Nutmeg is the main spice that caused Grenada to be called the Spice Isle of the West. The beauty of nutmeg is from nutmeg you get two spices. The seed, which is covered by this red coat, which is the mace, which gives you one spice, and the seed inside gives you another spice. And we have a saying in Grenada. The lady in the boat with the red petticoat. That's a jingle for nutmeg. I know about the Chelsea Flower Show, yes. I've never visited it personally, but I also know that Grenada has been doing very well in it, yeah, and it's one of the things I'm proud of. I think Grenada can offer spices to the world. We can spice up your living by giving you a spice for all season and a spice for the right reason.
I'm here at the Grenadan display with Catherine Johns, who's responsible for really curating and putting it all together. And we were seeing about those spices and just wonderful. How have you incorporated them across the display?
Because the display's a carnival theme, we thought at Carnival, which is one of our biggest traditional displays, we thought to add some spice in the carnival theme would be great.
And you've just dotted things across the stand?
Across the stand, yes.
So they're everywhere amongst them. And there's also this wonderful shell. What's that come from?
Nutmeg shells. We use almost every part of a nutmeg. We use the pericarp, we use the nutmeg, the mace, the shells, everything.
So nothing goes to waste. And it makes a beautiful mulch, doesn't it?
It is.
Really
it's
attractive.
Wonderful.
Now, what amongst the flowers are you most proud of?
I am proud of, should I say, everyone. I just love them all.
No favourites?
No, they're so beautiful. And wherever you go, you would find a new heliconia. We've got a heliconia on the opposite side. one of my team members went up in the mountains and found this new helicornia. So that was exciting, very exciting.
Very exciting. And you brought it here to the show.
And we brought it.
Very much.
Thank you so much.